Nuts, gonna do another Dead Cells stream here. So far 2 for 2 on the live streams, so let's see if we can keep up the success here. Today we are going to be using one of my favorite weapons. Oops. And it has a pretty good synergy with this weapon that I set myself to start with, which is the Boy's Axe. Let's see, this looks solid. So, basically if you don't have either of these weapons, the Boy's Axe is just a very quick throw. Throws one axe and only has one ammo, and then it needs to be recalled before you can throw it again. But while the axe is in the enemy, that enemy is rooted, unable to move, defend itself basically in any way unless you're right in front of it. And the quick bow, well, the quick bow is just one of my favorite weapons in the whole game. Very fun to use, shoots so fast, gives you a ton of mobility, has a ton of ammo. So it's definitely a blast. It used to be super strong. It did get nerfed in 1.9, and as you can see, it kind of just melted those guys there on its own. But what it does is it inflicts a critical hit if the target has 2 or more arrows stuck in its body. So the thing about the Boy's Axe, and why this is going to work so well with the quick bow, is that the Boy's Axe is kind of like ice shards. Its attack is almost instantaneous, and then your follow-up attack can come out immediately. So if I just tap this button once while they're dual bound, I mean, the quick bow shot basically still comes out instantly, and you also get the Boy's Axe throw. That Boy's Axe throw is going to root the enemy for me and let me just pummel them from a distance. It's not going to work too well on this guy because he has a shield, so let's give him a flamethrower turret instead. But another thing about the quick bow is that once you've got 2 or more arrows stuck in the enemy, it starts getting critical hits. And the Boy's Axe is actually going to count as one of your arrows. So basically you get an instant arrow shot and the Boy's Axe at the same time. That gives you both of the arrows that you need, and the enemy is rooted. And then you just get immediate crits from there. Just go to town. And I got hit already the second I started using the weapons together. But this should be strong, and in 1.9, they changed it so that rooting an enemy is actually a DPS boosting affix on many items. So if I can get a quick bow that has bonus damage to rooted enemies, and then they're just sitting there rooted by that Boy's Axe, I'm going to be doing some work. This is also going to be my first time playing tactics on the stream. In previous, you know what? That's not bad. Might take that over Lightspeed. In previous patches, I would have been kind of afraid to do this because tactics is known historically as the glass cannon type of build. Gives you a very small amount of HP compared to brutality or survival, which, you know, it can be really rough at the higher difficulties when you're not allowed to heal as often. You don't get flask recharges all the time. But tactics is almost unquestionably better in 1.9 than it was in 1.8 or 1.7. So the nice thing about that is that it makes quick bow a lot more usable. Even though quick bow itself got nerfed, I still think quick bow is more usable now in 1.9 than it was in 1.7 or 1.8, just because of how good tactics is now. And tactics didn't really get changed directly. It's more the changes to the rest of the game just helped tactics work better in general. So basically what I mean by that is scroll counts throughout the game are just lower. And the reason that helps tactics is because the more scrolls you have, the higher the discrepancy of your HP compared to other scroll types. So You know, the first tactics scroll you take gives you 50% HP, puts you at 150 HP. The first survival scroll you take gives you 70% HP, puts you at 170 HP. So the difference between 170 and 150 really isn't that huge, but those percentages keep kind of not scaling well for tactics the higher you go, which made previous versions of the game, 1.8 and 1.7, not good for tactics. Because actually, after I had like 20-something tactics scrolls, tactics stops giving you HP entirely. The other scroll types just keep going. But since we're not getting as high, we don't reach that threshold as quickly. Enemies are balanced at a lower level. The HP discrepancy never gets as bad for tactics as it used to be. I also feel like bosses in general just do a little less damage than they used to. I could be wrong about that, but it seems like biomes are a little easier, or harder, and bosses are a little easier, which also helps tactics. And you've got the fact that they made the early game harder and the end game, in my opinion, slightly easier. Which tactics has always been fine in the early game when the HP I don't know why he's not getting hit there. When the HP discrepancy wasn't as bad. Ooh, the rat pushed me out of the way of being able to go back down. So because of that, tactics does a little better in the late game than it used to. And another really nice thing is that one of its mutations got hugely... And see, he can't even approach me because of the poison axe. So that was solid. I was able to just channel those arrows into him. But yeah, one of the mutations just got a huge buff. And I'm talking about support. And I'll cover that when I take it later, because I'm definitely going to be taking it. It's one of the best reasons to go tactics now. So, let's see if we can get out of here soon. I've been in this biome for long enough. Another boy's axe. Does give me shoots an arrow in front, so I'm going to take that over the one that I started with. Still don't have Explorer's Instinct activated yet. But another nice thing about this synergy between these two weapons is that with the quick bow... Oh, it's right up there. Okay. With the quick bow, you can just hold the button down and continuously shoot. And with the boy's axe, when you tap the button once, then it throws the axe and roots the target. But the next time you press the button, it's going to recall the axe and unroot the target. So any ability that you have to keep pressing the button to use is not going to keep the target rooted the whole time. Of course, you'll get more damage as you continue ripping the axe out, because that's actually where most of boy's axe's damage comes from. But with this setup, it's kind of more helpful instead of doing more damage just to keep them rooted at a distance so I can keep pounding away with the quick bow. Nothing particularly useful here. Maybe the oil grenade would have been good with the flamethrower turret in hindsight, but nothing too crazy. So we're going to start with gastronomy just for the survivability, and also hopefully so we can take the DPS buff from recycling food into the next biome, and then we'll go with support after that. But yeah, boy's axe generally synergizes really well with any weapon where you can just hold down the button, throw the boy's axe once, and then keep attacking with your other weapon. So anything that's channeled, like lightning bolt or fire blast, works really well with it too. And I picked quick bow today, not because I necessarily think it's stronger than fire blast or lightning bolt, but just because the synergy where it counts as one of quick bow's arrows and gives you those crits sooner. I thought that's really cool. Plus, quick bow has really long range, and so does boy's axe, so you can root them from even further away. But yeah, Fire Blast, Lightning Bolt, even Sonic Carbine. You can even use Sonic Carbine with some pretty good success with the Boy's Axe, or Magic Missiles. It's another one where you can just hold the button down. Pyrotechnics. There are a few options for sure. So it's relatively versatile, and you can even take it with weapons where you don't have to hold the button down, but it's just going to give you damage instead of rooting. And maybe a little bit of a root or stutter too. Let's go with traps. See if we can find a nice trap here. Generates a toxic cloud, always very useful. Take 25% reduced damage when you're near it, and spreads inflammable oil. That's what I'm talking about. So that's an ooh, and this one also gives you that, and gives you bleeding, and does extra damage to rooted targets, which my targets will be because of the Boy's Axe. So this is another reason why, I mean, support is just a great mutation in general, but because it synergizes with turrets, which are already so good for tactics, particularly because, you know, like we were talking about earlier, tactics has a smaller HP pool. So if you can find a turret like the one I just did that has 25% damage reduction on it, suddenly you are much tankier as tactics. Ooh! I didn't think he was going to be able to reach me with that. I thought I had rooted just far enough away. And that did do a pretty large chunk of my life. Oh, and there's a scroll. Well, now I'll get 70% increased HP. That would have been nice to have right before I took that hit. Oh well. We'll just go ahead and get basically all of that back because I have astronomy. Which, if you don't know, doubles the effectiveness of your food as well. So that croissant gave me 30% health instead of 15. Very nice for staying alive. He's just gonna chill right there, huh, and be invincible. What a guy. Doesn't want to make things difficult for me at all. And that elite with the shield, he's gonna be a little tricky. I feel like a lot of people think Promenade is a pretty easy biome, and for the most part that's true. But if you get those protectors in bad spots, it can be a little tricky. Another source of inflammable oil. Oh wait, no, I didn't take a trap that had that. So that might actually be good to take for my flamethrower turret if I'm going to stick with that. Shots explode into a toxic cloud and critical hits plus 20%. That's very good. And shoots an arrow in front of you. We're going to take this quick bow. Always a pleasant surprise to see shots explode into a toxic cloud on any ranged weapon. Heavy turret. So I don't actually need the toxic cloud anymore because I got it from... I might take this, actually. Heavy turret is maybe a little better than flamethrower turret in builds where you want to keep your distance. Because it just shoots so much further away, and it gives you that stutter too. Nice little CC because of that. Can't seem to tag that bad. The quick bow has always been one of my favorite weapons in the game. When I first started playing this game, and I was going through the early boss cells, I used this thing to clear just about everything. And then I think when I got to about 3 BC, the low HP of tactics just started to get me. And I realized that I needed to switch. So now with the buff to tactics, it makes me, well, you know, again, like I was saying, an indirect buff to tactics. Makes me happy that I can use it a little more. He was able to come over here even though he was looted. I guess it only affects his legs, not his ability to just teleport. That doesn't require his legs, apparently. The long distance lob there. Well, I'm glad I didn't just face plant into spikes there, considering I just ground pounded without looking at all where I was going. I think that's actually an achievement in the game, too, for doing that. Very snarky motion twin. And we got another annoying protector over here. See if we can get to that 60 kill streak. Also grab this scroll fragment before I get out of here. The one weakness that Quickbow has is that even though it has a lot of ammo, it fires so fast it actually goes through that ammo pretty fast. So usually when I take Quickbow, I like to play ammo with it, which, you know, it's not fun losing a mutation slot, but sometimes that's... Oh, God. Have some runners, me. And those elite runners are fast. Oh, my God. How did I... Oh, and I missed the 60 streak. Ouch. And I blame that on the fact that I rolled just a little bit before I got to that door. I meant to roll through the door. Oh well. We're okay. Would have liked to have found some more food in here. A little surprised I haven't. Well, regardless, we'll go grab this free treasure chest by the prison depths. Hopefully free. If it's not free, I might just back out. That's free. That's what I'm talking about. Barnacle, that's solid, but I'm happy with the turrets I have. Maybe a slightly burstier DPS option would be good for some of this part, but I think we're gonna be good. Being able to root a large enemy, you know, prison depths, and I'll gain the DPS boost here too from taking support. 15% damage if you're close to a deployed skill. So basically I can alternate deploying these turrets on probably every pack, have them up basically 100% of the time on bosses, take their incredible benefits as they come on their own, and have a 15% overall increase to all of my damage. Not just from my main hand. So not only is that incredibly good, as I get further through the game, that's going to continue to scale. with tactics, which means that the damage boost is going to see, as you can see, just taking that one scroll pushed it up to 16%. Late game, that's going to get over 30%. Potentially. It's kind of a scary looking long hallway here, and we got a knife thrower immediately. That's why you got to be patient in those situations. Probably shouldn't have blown both of my traps right off the bat like that, but we're okay. Put the other guy up here. And see, he didn't actually teleport up because he had the poise axe, so he couldn't teleport. For some reason, the elites still can. So look at this, actually. This is something... Oh, no, no. It's coming from my heavy turret. So the heavy turret gives you a 15% damage buff on its own. So that's why it shows one sword above my head. And then it shows the second. So, see, it says sword 2. And it also shows the shield, which I get from take minus 25% damage when I'm near my sinew slicer. But that 2 sword is the damage buff from the heavy turret and the damage buff from support. And let's go ahead and make it 3. I'm recycling some food here. Curse. Definitely the scariest part of the game. Coming into these biomes, now that I feel like they're so much more difficult in 1.9, getting cursed. And, you know, these biomes are completely optional. If I didn't come here, of course, the late game. And I guess that's, you know, a choice that Motion Twin put in the game on purpose. Do you want to make the early game harder and then have like a nice payoff for doing this late game? Or do you want the late game to be harder and not have to worry about the curse? And, you know, that's kind of cool. I need to stop throwing both of these turrets at the same time. That way I can have this buff for more enemies. Oh, you know what? He couldn't turn around? I just panicked there. Because he's a slasher, and those are always terrifying. This guy's starred. I wonder if he's going to have a legendary. He does indeed. Twin daggers. With 2 starred affixes on it. Look at that. I think it's pretty nice, but not conducive to this build. I'm not going with that. Even if I wasn't doing a showcase run of these 2 weapons, I wouldn't have taken those twin daggers there. See, these large guys just can't do a thing against this. Get rooted, get behind them, and I'm not even having to use my turrets. Although it would make it go faster, so I might as well. I'm glad he was facing the other direction. It was all my ammo. I had just enough to take all those guys out. You know, I'm happy with this. Let's keep it going. I thought that lacerator was going to catch me for sure. I think my heavy turret gave me just enough CC there. Actually pushed him off the ledge for me. Oh god. What have we gotten ourselves into here? This looks tricky. It looks like we're going to have another legendary up here too. How am I going to deal with this best? Oh my god. That's about the worst kind of elite I could have gotten there. And I have no clue how I didn't get hit. And still haven't gotten it. Alright, I knew that was coming. I can't believe that wasn't way, way worse. We do have a challenge rift here. Is it a war spear? God, just the regular slashers just take forever to kill. Challenge rift. Another nice reason for coming to these biomes that are optional. Just for the chance to grab one of these guys. Alright, so something that's really smart to do in challenge rifts is to always look at these amulets that pop out. So I don't have to actually fight anything in this challenge rift. So taking this amulet is going to give me more HP. So see, right now I have 1593. Take this, we go up to 2011. So that's solid. And then once I leave the challenge rift, this amulet will get spit back out at the end, and I can go ahead and take it for the damage score. That was horrible. All right. God. Well, we're gonna flask, and this is a tough segment too. But that was me just playing really bad. Well, we will be stopping by the graveyard then to buy a flask charge in the later sections of the game. So that was pretty bad, but you know, I still got the scroll out of it. I won't say I'm unhappy that I went in there, because if I play my cards right from here, things can still end up good for me. Don't really need any of this stuff, we're just gonna sell. And we're gonna go to the Ancient Sewers for the scroll fragments, basically, and because with a ranged build like this, Conjunctivius isn't terrible. But mainly, like I was saying, it's for the scroll fragments. You get 5 fragments from the Ancient Sewers and 5 from Conjunctivius, whereas if I went Ossuary and Concierge, you would only get 3 and 3, so it's a whole nother scroll. And now it's probably time to take ammo. Gonna need it eventually. It's weird, you can see that tentacle got rooted, but it was still like kind of slightly stuttering toward me. Some enemies just kind of act weird when they get rooted, and Concierge is actually one of those too, so kind of stay away from him before his ass. Against Conjunctivius, I think it's generally just going to be helpful, because Conjunctivius is always flying all over the place. So hard to hit. And there's that weird stutter again. Conjunctivius absolutely is susceptible to it. not always the easiest thing in the world to do to get conjunctivius in a wolf trap, but then if you do, you can kind of just go to town. So yeah, gastronomy really strong there when I get the infected food, because then I can just recycle that for the damage buff. And maybe I should have saved that for the conjunctivius fight, but you know, I'm kind of happy to have it in the biome too. More spike traps, my nemesis today. And we got a mushroom boy up there trying to impale me too. While I'm going through it, always makes it a little more fun. There's the 75% damage on rooted targets. And bonus damage to bleeding. And that sinew slicer. Oh my, I think I have to take this. And shots pierce. Getting rid of the toxic cloud quick bow is maybe controversial, but look at that synergy. Can't say no to this. You just can't. How about a boy's axe too? So I've noticed, yeah, the boy's axe can get bonus damage to rooted targets, but it roots targets. So does it do bonus damage on its own damage? I'm not sure. Let's buy it. Because it also has bonus damage of bleeding. So annoying. That damage looked good. And I don't know if I want to keep this for the boss, but it is another scroll. This is going to increase my HP by nearly double. So we want that. And with tactics, probably a controversial opinion too, but I actually usually do like to take just a couple of off-color scrolls for the HP. Tactics is usually so strong damage-wise anyway that it can afford to do that, and its HP is so low that it can be helpful in the long run. I won't say that it's always the right choice. Challenge Rift. That is great. Gonna grab some more scrolls here. But I might go on... Alright, I'm gonna grab this before I head in, and then I'll go in. Just for the little HP boost. So let's see if I can not suck ass in this one like I did in the first one. I think this will be a little more HP. 3283, and this one gives me an extra jump. Yep, that's what we want. This is looking familiar. That might have been the room where I got nearly clubbed to death in the last Challenge Rift. Or at least something similar. Clubbed to death by large, spiky balls. Just in time there. That other one does have damage from projectiles reduced. I mean, that's really nice against conjunctivius, so... Oh, and I accidentally sold it instead of picking it back up. Skills right there. That's why I stream, so you guys can witness my skills. Oh my god, I lost track of you. So much fire and other effects on the ground, I couldn't even see him. And you were giving me a very hard time right there. Spike's my only weakness! So far, that couldn't be truer. You know what? I'm just going to make a decision on this thing right now. That's so much extra damage. And it cuts... I can't do that. That cuts my health in half. Spikes again. This part's always fun. I do have the extra jump. I'm fine. Without extra jump in midair, I do get tagged by those spikes way more than I'd like to admit. Right into the poison water, but somehow I didn't take damage there. I guess I jumped out just fast enough. What you got, boy? What could go wrong in this tiny space? Luckily I had the damage to just melt him before he could get closer to the middle of the room, because I was not looking forward. Trying to dodge all those grenades in that tiny enclosed area. And that giant mushroom boy down there trying to tag me again. You guys have not been my friends today. Treasure chest room. And it's free. Fire grenade, one of my favorite grenades, but not gonna take an off-color fire grenade. Do you have all three keys? Corrosive cloud. Sinew slicer is not gonna be great. You know, I have to keep it though. I don't have any poison synergy. Corrosive cloud with bleeding causes poisoning. Interestingly enough, corrosive cloud already causes bleeding and poisoning anyway. So what is it, like double poison? I'm not actually sure how that would work. Did we get everything in here? There's a scroll fragment back there I didn't get. At least a scroll fragment. That could be, you know, I think there's 2 more scroll fragments in here. And another off-color scroll. Alright, so where do we need to go? And another scroll. And I need to go back and get that food. And a free chest. So let's get some more DPS scrolls. And as you can see, support already up to 22%. 23%? It's just gonna keep going up. My damage should get very high. It was a little lackluster in Prison Depths, but I mean, that's what I mean. Like, those biomes are just really, really hard. I don't know if I should be spending this much money. I need that bleed synergy, and the damage reduction is still nice. I actually have a lot of HP. I'm gonna take the malaise reduction and the health. Still instead of the DPS buff right there. Grab this guy, and then Conjunctivious time. If you drop through there quick enough, it doesn't really hurt very much. As you can see, I lost 7 HP out of my 6,000. So I'd say it's worth it, even though that thing that was down there really wasn't worth that much money. I mean, 7 HP, that's basically nothing. The only thing is it does cost you your kill streak, so I generally don't do it until the very end. Luckily, it happened to be waiting for me right at the end. And I feel like this is going to be a strong Conjunctivia setup. We'll see. Sinew Slicer can't aim up. That would be my only concern. Should still be good against the tentacles, though. Yeah, this is working. What? Was I just shooting right through Conjunctivias there? And you can see with the Boy's Axe on bosses, this is something that's really nice. Even if I don't recall it, they can't stay rooted forever. That would be ridiculous. So eventually it just gets recalled automatically. And when that happens, it still does damage. So even though I'm not actually pressing buttons to recall the Boy's Axe, I'm still getting the damage for the recall. And thank you, Mighty Mouse, for the advice there. But I'm glad I didn't mention anything about playing well in that fight, because then I would have definitely screwed up. But as it turns out, I flawlessed that boss. Turned out that was a pretty strong setup against Conjunctivius after all. And yeah, we have to go Graveyard so that I can buy a flash charge, which will eat up just about all of my gold. But with the new economy, there's a little more leeway for stuff like that. And what useless legendary will we have here? Can't wait to find out. Corrupted Power. You know, that's not terrible. I'm selling it, though. That is one thing I don't particularly like about Update 1.9, is that legendaries are just not nearly as exciting now that they don't give you an extra scroll. So, like in the past, I definitely would have taken that just for the bonus scroll. But now that it doesn't give me something, you know, it's like, it's just a colorless item that's a high level and has a guaranteed start affix, which, you know, those are all good things, but if it doesn't go with your build, it's just not worth doing it. Oh, wow. Almost didn't notice you there. Walked right over you. Wings of the Crow. That is a very fun item. And it's tactics, but with this build, I don't feel like it's quite the right fit. Spoilers, I might try to do something with it later. I knew there's an... Oh, he's shooting in my turrets, though. Oh! Something hit me. Sometimes there's just so much crap on the screen that I don't even see stuff. Didn't do very much damage. I think I rallied some of the HP back, but I don't really ever enjoy taking melees when I don't have to. Gonna need this key. if you're not super familiar with Graveyard, that's basically how the biome works. You have to, in the upper level, find the key, and then you can start descending into the actual Graveyard itself. And you know, these biomes are all randomized, but there are certain parts about them that are always the same, and that's the case with Graveyard here. Oh, I forgot that ammo actually gives you an extra Boys Axe too. So I have 2 ammo on my Boys Axes. So I keep accidentally just tapping the button again to try to recall my axe, and in reality, I just have none. But actually, that's gonna, if I can remember to use it that way, it's gonna be smart, because now I can root 2 enemies at the same time. So, you know, if I come into a tough group, and only the first one would have gotten rooted before, the extra ammo, I can handle that a lot better. I knew there was all kinds of crap down there! There you have a trap. So far, so good in here. Graveyard can be one of the tougher biomes. Whew, this thing's so good. Obviously, I can't get rid of Sinew Slicer. I'm gonna... I'm not gonna take it. I almost wanted to take it, because I'm gonna go toward the Giant after this. And that would be very nice against the Giant. Hit both hands at the same time, activate my bleed synergy that I have on my main hand weapon. But for the biomes, I would still rather have Heavy Turret and Sinew Slicer. So for now, that's what we'll stick with. I'm just going to go ahead and grab this now, and maybe I can find something before I can get that Inquisitor up there, being real annoying. What a surprising event in the game of Dead Cells. An Inquisitor was being annoying. Did everything except hit that switch over there. Let's head down. Inquisitor from out of nowhere that I didn't even know existed. That can be the iffy thing about taking traps sometimes. Sometimes the Inquisitors will show you your traps and end up catching you. Alright, managed to not get clubbed in the face by giant spiky ball clubs. Let's just see what's in here. Nothing good. Oh my god. No, it's just a blizzard. Burn the ground when you run. I love that one. I'm gonna take that. Forgot that there's a cursed chest in here. I'll come back to you in just a second. That would have been horrifying if I was cursed. But now that he's out of the way, I should be good. How did you get up here? Were you up here the whole time? Oh, I see. And it looks like I have plenty of enemies to kill without having to worry about spike traps. That's the main thing I was looking out for. But no teleporters for such a long way. Anyway, let's go grab that curse. Spartan sandals, that's kind of cool, colorless, because it actually goes well with a ranged build for the most part. Let's get that damage buff for this curse too. Turrets are definitely good for choosing curses. Where is the cavern? Do I have an extra jump in midair right now? I do. Better than the one I have? This one gives bonus damage to bleeding. And shots pierce. I mean, the other one had shots pierce too. This one also just has a higher, yep. It's a solid upgrade. Okay, well, I did come here for the sake of buying the flash charge, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. Just max out everything. Money's not tight right now. Snag this for the gold. Don't know why that room existed. Sometimes with randomly generated rooms like that, you get some weird stuff. You know, I hope I got all the scrolls in there. I think I did. I hope I did. I didn't look over the map all that thoroughly. Wave of Denial. That is pretty good. Tempting, but not tempting enough. The problem with Sinew Slicer against the Giant is that it can't aim up. So it's not going to be able to hit him in the eye. It's not going to be able to hit his hands unless he brings his hands down, which he does sometimes. but my entire kit is so dependent on bleed damage right now, and it gives the 25% damage reduction. I can't imagine getting rid of it unless I can find like a good cleaver, which somehow, even though the cleaver is ground bound, somehow will hit the giant's hands. Yeah, you'll have to explain that one to me. Not that I'm complaining. I love you, cleaver. Come on up, buddy. Oh crap, that arbiter. Not sure how I didn't get hit there. Not complaining about not getting hit there. Always sad when you get to a portal and you don't have any portals to teleport to. If I had only jumped up there first. Is that the 4 room? So the 4-cell room in Cavern always just has a bunch of free stuff in it, once you've unlocked it the first time. Luckily, Gwen did not hear that. She doesn't know about me and Cleaver. I just have to hope she doesn't go back and watch this stream later, or I might be in trouble. After all, she is the one hosting me on on this channel here, so she did hear it. Oh my god. Well, guys, if this stream suddenly ends, you'll know why. So that was... How did he whiff me there? I was standing directly in front of him, oblivious that he even existed, and he just whiffed so bad. That's what we call skill. Giant birds. Slammers. Anyway, there my... Ooh, look at this guy. I love burning the ground when I run, but... I mean, this has 4 scrolls. I just did not want to get hit at all. Might as well take a look. Man, bonus damage to Rooted again. And it's a 12. Means I don't have to rely on bleeding. I also get an arrow in front. It's tough to say if that's worth it or not. It does spread inflammable oil, but I don't really have a fire source. Let's see what else we got. Just have to be content with what I have, which I think is already quite good. Being happy with what I have. What an un-American thing for me to do. I'm actually feeling like my health bar is pretty tiny to be fighting the giant with. I'm gonna start taking some good color shots. Not a lot, but some. This is where we look for something to use instead of Sinew Slicer. Man, that thing is so good! But I don't want to get rid of the bleeding synergy either. But it's so good. Spreads its own inflammable oil. The heavy turret already does that. I'm just going to keep looking. Can we get a nice cleaver? I mean, it's pretty nice, but... Does that damage reduction stack? I could have it on both of my turrets. I don't think it does. Do I want to spend 9,000 gold for science? It does mean I can get rid of that cleaver later too, or sinew slicer later if I want to. But that thing is pretty good. Do I really want to? For science. Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of it. One shield. One shield. It does not stack. That's alright. At least I don't think it stacks, unless there's just no visual indication that it does. Which I guess is possible. But, you know, the sword icon has a number next to it. It says 1, so I know how many damage buffs I have. The shield icon doesn't have any number, and I don't know if that graphic just doesn't exist, or if it's because they know that it can't stack. Maybe someday I'll lab that out. Oh man, that teleport! He actually pushed me into the Arbiter's shot. That makes me sad T-nuts. I'm gonna keep going for help. I'm crazy, man. Oh god! Did that kill? It killed the demon. I literally screwed up there, and it paid off. It is a little unfortunate that the Boy's Axe doesn't have the auto target. So I was able to hit that Arbiter with the quick bow, but not the Boy's Axe. So I wasn't able to get the crits as fast. I don't think the root really would have mattered. I mean, you know, he's just up there being a bastard, trying to snipe me anyway. Maybe if I could have rooted him facing in the opposite direction. When is that guy gonna come up here? I'm waiting very patiently. Another one. I guess I don't need the damage reduction anymore. Burning oil? But I don't have anything that actually spreads fire unless I get a kill with a heavy turret. Did I forget the kitty cam again? You're gonna have to take me off the air. I'm just useless as a streamer. I can't imagine that someone would actually want to watch me play this game when there could be cute kitties on the screen instead, so I sincerely apologize, and you got melted, which is good because that could have been pretty dangerous with that tiny enclosed area. See, so we're at 23 scrolls now. And tactics is no longer giving HP. But support is giving 33% bonus damage. That's so much. So I'm hearing right now that kitty cam might be a possibility. possibly have to have Gwen help me with that in just a second. I don't know if dodging arbiters and all sorts of other crazy guys jumping at me and also trying to switch to kitty cam is something that I could really do well at. This guy. Did my best to try to roll into that shot, but somehow wasn't quite bad enough to do it. Guess he died. That was like some kind of a weird phantom teleport there. So this is the end. I'm just coming down here for the Explorer's Instincts map coverage, which I appear to have still not gotten. That must be close. How many of those are you gonna block? Wow, still so many scrolls in here. And another fragment. More traps. Maybe we'll replace that sinew slicer now. Man, that thing's good. But I still need bleed synergy. So we would have to replace it with like a cleaver that generates a toxic cloud and gives me bonus damage. Yes, we will have to replace it with that. That thing looks amazing. Don't really see much point in going up there. I think I actually am going to go back and take that other amulet in just a second. And then I'll go back and snag that food for the damage buff before I fight the giant. Yep. Yeah, this is the cleaver right here, basically. Cleaver 12, that's the highest possible level of cleaver. Look at all those beautiful affixes. I'm in love. I don't know about not safe for work. I haven't gone that far with the cleaver yet. But I guess I don't know for sure that things won't escalate. Just kidding, viewers. Just kidding. Not trying to get into too weird a territory here. Alright. Did I accidentally go back and sell that neck instead of taking it? No, I did take it. Okay. That's good. 14, 584 HP. So, and this is another really cool thing about gastronomy, actually. So I'm going to reset my mutations here so that I can have dead inside for the extra HP. And the gastronomy buff that I got from selling that food is still going to be with me for the 5 minutes. Ooh. I probably should have taken networking. Networking is extremely good on the giant. But I think I need... if I don't take ammo, I'm just going to be sitting around. So, and I'm not going to reset my mutations again. In this way, I won't have to change it when I get to Hand of the King, too. Let's go. So far, the giant is not allowed to play dead cells. Caught me there. Got it. Sad Scully. That's what Gwen has always called this guy. And Gwen, if you haven't seen this cutscene, you know, I'll go ahead and leave this here so you can just watch this. I know you're a big fan of this part. At the end, which I have showed you before. And that is rude, Scully. He's both sad and rude. Mighty Mouse, that was another flawless. This run is you know, considering the rocky start I had in that challenge rift, things are going pretty well now. One scroll fragment. That's kind of sad. Normally, yeah, I'm not going High Peak Castle. Let's just try to get this this thing wrapped up. Go straight to the throne room. I did get those 2 challenge rifts along the way, so I'm not like totally helpless as far as my HP and damage are concerned. Although High Peak Castle would have given me 2 more scrolls. What a beautiful frantic sword, but unfortunately no. And we're going to try to just melt the Hand of the King before he's allowed to play the game too. Typically he doesn't like to do that, so he probably will say no thank you. We're going to try it anyway. My HP is not incredibly high, but with the buffer from the 25% reduced damage from the turret, I should be alright. That was a pretty good chunk of damage before he was even allowed to turn around there. Off to a good start. Oh, he caught me. I think my root actually bit me in the ass there. One hit. Really wanted the triple perfect boss fights there, but I mean, I'll live. That's right. 854 cells. So many cells. You know what I'm gonna do with these cells, don't you? I'm gonna throw them straight in the trash. Yeah, I bet you want these cells. Keep that inside here. See, this is where I'm a little scared for my HP to get kind of low again, especially because I might not have my turret with the damage reduction up for every pull. But with gastronomy, I think I'll be alright. And support, of course. That's why we grabbed gastronomy right there. Oh god. Luckily those guys below me just left me alone while I fighting him. That was nice of them. They're very considerate enemies. Making sure to think about my feelings too, you know. Librarian really scares me. I don't want to shop while he's right there. Okay, let's shop. Shopping spree! I didn't end up taking anything that did bonus damage to inflammable oil. Poison. But now I don't have fire. Whatever, we're fine. Yeah. Good job, turret. There's a fly in here. So if you're seeing some weirdness going on in front of the camera, that's probably what it is. Motion Twin had to bring in something else to try to distract me. It's a lot of damage on that thing right there. But, I'm not exactly the most comfortable with my HP number anyway. Kamikazes or rats, you know, it depends on the build I'm playing. In a single target build, like, you know, this is kind of single targety because I only get to root one thing, or two if I've got the ammo mutation for the Boy's Axe. So in that situation, rats are definitely more annoying. Especially because the quick bow is just so good at picking off kamikazes, but say you're playing survival with something like the War Spear, have fun hitting kamikazes with the War Spear. There are all, you know, that's like the main reason that people hate that weapon, is just because it's almost impossible to hit bats with it in general. And kamikazes, those are the bats you cannot afford to miss. Food shop. Hello. Come back to you later. God. So many things. That shopkeeper's just like, what the? What are you doing in my shop? You're gonna stomp right all over that baguette. Are you gonna pay for that later? Jesus. Alright, shop guy. Not yet. I meant to throw that cleaver into the room with him, but I was a little too quick on the trigger. Launched it right into the door and reflected back right onto myself. I'm not giving myself an easy time with the librarians today. I don't really have a great skill to deal with him though. And I need to just pick him off from a distance before I have a chance to start doing that stuff. Probably stop playing the cleaver like it's a sinew slicer too and just dropping it at range so it can sit there and do absolutely nothing. There's another guy who just doesn't care about being rooted, apparently. But how exactly do you root someone in the air, anyway? Those are some damn effective roots. Okay, they're actually going to give me an on-color scroll. Those are kind of rare to find in this final biome. And there's that last creep. Gotta go down there and take him out before we're allowed to go on to the true final boss. Oh, come on! Food shop guy! I'm coming for you in a second. Alright, managed to not just slam that cleaver right into the door this time. Is now the time to go to the food shop? Not yet. So the question here is if those shield defender guys received an attack like me Sword Fighter's Tornado from Smash Bros., would I quit the game? I think I'd probably quit the game if they gave that attack to anybody. That is the most BS attack. Look at this! How much of a camper is that dude being? I guess I can like go down there and stomp? That's a pretty unpleasant... There's no reason for me to even deal with it. I just want to see how it goes. Let's do it. Oh my god, he's a double elite. That was ridiculous. Is that better for my HP? 16,700. It's not. Disappointing. Teleporter over there. I've been playing risky enough. Not that things are going badly, but it's about time to head over to that shop, I think. There you go, feared guy. There's some patronage for you. Sorry for stomping all your stuff earlier. Somehow forgot about that gigantic man flying through the air at me. Oh, oh my god! That was intense. Saw my life flashing before my eyes there. That guy managed to tag me. Those guys just attack so fast. I don't have enough money to buy the flask charge either. Wow. Well, this run has really taken a downward turn, but it should be fine. Anything important that I missed? Would have been nice to find another food. Those birds, they just turn around and attack so fast. I swear, all I did was try to jump up there and then just immediately jump out of the way. And I couldn't do it. Get good, as they say. Dead inside. Ammo. Support. Just to be safe. All those cells. Straight in the trash. Someone likes using the jump in the air move. Oh, is it time for the jump in the air move? The turret knocked him down. What is he doing up there? He's acting like a crazy man. Stutter from the heavy turret. Actually making things slightly. Final phase. Alright, well that was a tolerable collector fight, except for the very end. That's the thing, and that's why a lot of people like to take, or try to take emergency triage on this boss, is so that when you drink that potion at the very end, you get a 3-second shield, so you're not just defenseless while you do it. As you can see, I was defenseless, and he smashed me with an attack that did like 70% of my health, so, you know, I was able to rally a lot of it back and then just blow him up, which is basically how the end of that fight typically goes, but, yeah, not perfect, but, you know, overall, except for the rough end, solid run again. It seemed like a strong combo, particularly good for doing a lot of damage to bosses. If I had actually gone through High Peak Castle, I could have had a lot more HP for that fight. And another no shield run completed. Just, you know, a lot of 5BC players seem to think that you can only beat the game. Well, I don't think the 5BC players think this, but a lot of players think that they need to take shields in order to get there. And it's just not true. There are lots of different good builds you can do without shields. There are plenty of good builds you can do with shields too. So I would say just play however you want, and almost all of it is usable. There are definitely some particular items like Vampirism or Cursed Sword that I would never touch with a 20-foot pole unless you're trying to get some kind of an achievement. But yeah, this was a solid run. Quick bow still definitely good. I think it's, you know, it got nerfed, but I think it's actually more usable than it used to be because tactics is just better. Boy's Axe still a solid support weapon. Not much has changed there, except the root synergy possibly makes it even stronger than it used to be. So a good build that I would recommend to just about anybody, and even apart, you know, Boy's Axe, Quick Bow, they don't need each other to be successful, so I highly recommend both of them. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys again next time.